Oh man, 250 plus franchises tier list maker. Let's just start at the very start. Mm. Yeah, let's just start at the very start. I don't really know how to do this. If I want to do it in terms of games that that I have personally played and enjoyed, or how I think how I think that these specific games have, or that how these specific franchises have affected the gaming industry. I think I might just do it in for games that I have personally played and enjoy. I think that's probably how I'm going to do it, or maybe a bit of both. Actually, maybe a bit of both. Yeah, probably how I'm going to do it. Street Fighter, I think, is a pretty mid game. I'm uh, I'm not a huge fan of. I mean, I used to play a lot of like fighting games, and I actually started with Street Fighter. But I'm not a huge. I'm not a huge fighting game like kind of person. I think Street Fighter is an okay game for what it is, and also the effect that it has had on the industry. Personally, Red Dead. I think Red Dead 2 was huge. Think about how many videos have come out because of Red Dead and the effect that Red Dead 2 has had on the industry, especially when it came out. It was one of the biggest games that people were waiting for, like ever, right? And just the like how the characters were actually I'm gonna bring it up to Masterpiece specifically for that. Like even just based off of how the characters were written and how emotionally involved people got in it, I think is a huge thing. Halo also Masterpiece. Actually, no. I'm going to drop Halo down to very good because of the recent installments. If I was basing it off of Halo 1 through Halo Reach, I would 100% put it on Masterpiece. But since 343 has taken them over, they've gone downhill so bad. Like the games that they've been putting out is not good. They're not good. They changed the story too much. They were not focusing on what made Halo an actual good game, which is unfortunate because I think Halo 1 through Reach would be a masterpiece. But I don't think the newer Halos are masterpieces. I think the new Halos are actually just maybe like kind of mid or above average. But because of Halo 1 through Reach, I have to put it at very good. I can't do those games a disservice. GTA. Alright, listen. Listen. GTA, from a cultural phenomenon standpoint, I think is a masterpiece. But for me, I don't really care. I'm gonna be honest. I don't really care. I don't care about GTA, and I think literally anybody who watches this is gonna be upset about that. I don't give a shit about GTA. Again, from a cultural phenomenon standpoint, if I was ranking it solely on that, I would put it in masterpiece. I just don't care about it. I don't care about San Andreas. I don't care about I don't care about any of the GTA's. Mass Effect, I think, is actually a pretty good game. Game series, sorry. I think that the what do you call it? The options that you have in the games and the things that you can do in the games were actually almost ahead of its time, similar to like Fable, which is probably in here somewhere. I think the options and choices that you have in the Mass Effect series are really good, and the characters, for the most part, are well written. I'm actually going to put it up there very good. Again, these are all strictly just what I think of the games. These are not like uh, how much of a cultural effect that these had. Sims, I don't care. Yeah, I just don't care about The Sims. I've never played them. I don't have any desire to play them. It's fine. It is what it is, you know? Castlevania. Castlevania, I think that they are a good series, 100%. Or sorry, franchise. I think the Castlevania games are quite good for what they are. I'm not going to go back and play any of them, but I have played them, and I do think that they are good games. 100%. Now, Resident Evil, I think Resident Evil unironically falls into the same issue that Halo does. I think the earlier Resident Evil games are really, really good. That's maybe nostalgia talking, but I don't really care for the newer Resident Evil games. I don't know. I think it's Resident Evil 2 or 3. I put so many hours into it. I don't remember which one it was. I'm gonna also put Resident Evil in good. I think all of the Resident Evil games, like as a whole, they are good games. But I don't think I would consider them masterpieces. The King of Fighters, not a clue what that is. So in terms of, I also don't know what verse is. Um, so in terms of fighting games, right? Like I'm not a huge fan of fighting games, but out of the fighting games I've played, I think Mortal Kombat is very good. I think the whole gimmick around being able to see like executions, which really is what Mortal Kombat is actually known for, is executions. I think that's so cool. I think like actually being able to like smash somebody's fucking head in or like rip out their spine and then like feed it to them. I think that's like insane. I think that's the coolest thing graphically, and I think it draws in a very specific audience that they've been able to keep for a long time. Battlefield's a tough one. Battlefield's a tough one because they have separate entries in the game. Like Battlefield Bad Company 1 and 2, I think were fucking masterpiece games. Actually, no, you know what? Just masterpiece, 100%. Battlefield 1 was an awesome game. Battlefield 5 was a awesome game. Battlefield 3 was an awesome game. And for these games, by the way, I'm like talking strictly like online games. The campaigns were also good, but let's be real, most people were playing the online version of these games. I think Battlefield Bad Company 1 personally blows these games out of the water. But I think Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5 and Battlefield 3, so really basically all of the fucking popular Battlefield games, I think they're awesome. Personally, I do. I think that these games being out and the amount of people that like them is awesome. Medal of Honor, I've never actually played the online versions of, so I have to rate it strictly I have to rate it strictly on the campaign or like the single player version of the game, which I really enjoy. I love the Medal of Honor like single player experiences. Again, I never played them online, or if I did, I only played a few matches. I think that they're awesome games from a single player standpoint. Uh, Minecraft, I think is a good game. I'm not gonna order these in any specific way. If they're good, like Red Dead isn't necessarily better than Battlefield, and the same thing. I think Minecraft is a good game. I played it a lot when I was younger, but I think really it is a game meant for younger kids, and everybody that streams has a younger kid audience predominantly. But I think Minecraft does fill a niche, and for the game that it is, it's a imagination kind of game. You know, it's a game that lets you build literally whatever you want. I think it's a good game for what it is. I don't play it anymore, but I think it's a good game. Sure. I think Forza is a very good game. In terms of racing games, I think Forza is a very good game. I think Forza might be one of the better racing. Actually, I might have to change that later depending on other franchises that are in here. But I think Forza is a very good game. I think the free roam and I don't mean I think it's Forza Motorsports like the track only game. I can't remember the names. I think the track only games are really boring. But the free roam in the Forza games and being able to just do really whatever you want in the Forza games is so good. They have gotten stale and I haven't played them recently, but when I was playing them, I was really happy with them. I was content. Call of Duty is unfortunately another game that I think has suffered recently. I played a lot of Call of Duty when I was younger. I'm actually gonna trade these. I played a lot of Call of Duty when I was younger. Like a lot of Call of Duty. It was my main game for a long time. I just think the recent games aren't that great. The gameplay itself is a lot better, but I think the games need a little bit of a new idea to them. Personally, anyways. Like I'm not playing any Call of Duties right now because I don't really care for them anymore. I love shooters, but let's be honest. Doom is an S tier game. I don't think you need to like. I don't need to convince anybody of that. I think Doom is just an S tier game. It's obviously an S tier game. Like how would it not be an S tier game? Guilty Gear, I don't know what it is. Persona, I haven't played. I straight up don't know what that is. Wolfenstein as a single player experience, I think is a good game. I think the setting of Wolfenstein and the interactions in the game that you actually have are good. I think they are good games. I think it's almost sim from what I remember anyway, I think like the gameplay itself is almost similar to Doom, just in like movement and how the game actually feels. But I think it is a good game. It's just not as good as Doom, and it's not as good, I don't think, as Call of Duty or Halo. Devil May Cry is fine. I played it. I won't be going back to play it. Mm, Bayonetta I don't really care for, and the Lego games are fine. They are like I've played a lot of the Lego games. I played a lot of the Star Wars Halo games, or the Star Wars Lego games, and I've played all of the Harry Potter Lego games. They're fine. Like they're just nothing to write home about, right? It's just a story told in the Lego universe. They're fine. It is what it is. There's nothing crazy about them. Yeah. I think mid or I'll put it above average. I do think they're good games, but I think the issue with these games is that there's literally no replayability. Elder Scrolls, I'm actually only gonna put in very good. I don't think the game is as good as a lot of people remember. I think I'm actually gonna specifically talk about Skyrim because Morrowind and Oblivion I don't remember that much of. So I'm actually only gonna talk about Skyrim here. I think Skyrim is a very good game. I think the combat is fucking atrocious. I think the combat in Skyrim is really bad. But the world building and level design are top notch. Fallout, I mean, I'm not a huge Fallout person. For me personally, I think they're fine. I think Fallout's above average. I think it's better than the average game. I don't think it's a crazy game though. I know a lot of people love Fallout. That's just not really me. And maybe some people are going to get upset about that, but like I've played the Fallout games. They're good. I'm not ever going to go back and play them though. And I think that is what distinguishes a better tier game is replayability. Because if you can replay a game, that means that game is good. Super Mario, masterpiece. All of the Mario games are fucking S tier. Every single one. The Mario games are so good. I am a Super Mario enjoyer, 100%. And honestly, the exact same with The Legend of Zelda. I love The Legend of Zelda. I've played and beaten every single game multiple times. And the same can be said for the Mario games, including Mario Kart, by the way. I absolutely love both Super Mario and the Legend of Zelda franchises. They are both S plus tier, and if there was a S plus bracket, I would those would be probably the only games in there. 100%. 100%. Metroid, I think, is a very good game. Again, going back to what I was saying, because the replayability is there. I think Metroid games are very fun, and the gameplay is very good. That's why I'm putting it in the very good section because I think the game is very good. So, Dark Souls. Because it says specifically Dark Souls, I'm sorry. Because it's saying Dark Souls, I'm going to assume it's also including Demon Souls, Sekiro, like those style of games, right? Maybe I might be wrong. Um, I'm not seeing those other games down there. So I'm gonna assume the Dark Souls is just saying Souls style games. I think they are masterpieces. I think Dark Souls 2 is trash. I think everybody thinks Dark Souls 2 is trash. But Sekiro is an awesome game. And Elden Ring is one of the best games I think I've ever played. Like my first and like quote unquote main character in Elden Ring, I've gone through I think 15 or 16 journeys. So like new game 16. Yes, it caps at new game 7 like in terms of difficulty, but and like there's actually no reason to go that high, but the games are just so good. don't think there's anything that quite it captures me because the game is also so immersive. Like the immersion in these games is nuts. Everything is so dark. I love playing these games in the dark too. It really helps with the immersion of these games. I absolutely love them. So Final Fantasy, I'm kind of worried about this one because you have to take everything into account. I think the storytelling in Final Fantasy is some of the best in the MMO genre I've ever seen. And I think everybody agrees with that who are MMO fans. That being said, I think the it's tough because I see Warcraft here and that is going to be going in Masterpiece. But for me personally, I don't think it is the same level of Masterpiece as Warcraft is. And it's kind of tough for me because I absolutely love Final Fantasy. I've played through the game. And I do have to preface this, by the way. I am strictly talking about Final Fantasy XIV because I am an MMO player. I am an MMO and a shooter player. I enjoy RPGs that you have other players and other people in there. And I think Final Fantasy XIV is one of the most welcoming and wholesome communities I've ever been a part of. And I think a lot of people who play these games will say the exact same thing. So much more so. Again, I think I think Warcraft is S tier, but I think the Warcraft community fucking sucks. I really do. Dragon Quest is a good game. I don't think there's much else to say about that. Dragon Quest is a good game. Quake, some people might be upset about this. I've never actually played Quake. I've never actually played Quake. I've heard it's a really good game, and I know that there is like a culture surrounding it, but I have personally not played Quake. Maybe I might have like one or two people comment on this video that I upload to YouTube that'd be like, man, fucking Quake is like the best game ever made, yada yada yada. Or the best game franchise ever made, but I have never personally played Quake. Counter Strike is a very good game. You know, I played a lot of CS:GO. I didn't play the original Counter Strike, but I played a lot of CS:GO. I think it's a good game. I think it has a very large community, and the fact that you can gamble for like knives and I mean, I don't actually enjoy the gambling aspect of it. Sorry, I'm kind of losing my voice. I don't actually enjoy the gambling aspect of it, but I think being able to get like cool different knives and having your guns look a different way while acting the same, like there's no actual power in it, is a really good and cool thing to do. And it keeps people on the chase. And it's also one of the most competitive shooters out there, just because of like what the game actually is. That doesn't really come into it, but I've played quite a bit of CS:GO. I haven't played Counter Strike 2. I've heard there's a lot of like cheaters and hackers in it. I don't care about that. Like I just don't want to deal with that. But I've played a lot of CS:GO, and I think it's a pretty good game. Team Fortress, I'm actually only going to be putting in good. I played a little bit of TF2, and I kind of got bored with it, to be honest. It didn't quite hit me the same as like CS:GO did, and I was playing these games at roughly the same time. Ironically, if there is a what do you call it? Overwatch thing down here somewhere. I think Overwatch is it's basically the same game, right? I just think it's infinitely better. I think it's infinitely more interesting, and like the different ways that you can play the game is just infinitely better. And it's the same kind of genre of game. Like it is like a powered up like team shooter, right? I think it's just infinitely more interesting and much more fun to play. I'm not 100% sure what this is. Is this like the Unreal games? I don't fully. I don't remember. Portal's a fine game. I mean, I didn't really play it much with friends. I have played through the games. I think they're fine games. Sonic, I think is kind of mid. I'm not gonna lie. I know that there's a lot of people who love the Sonic games. I think uh, I think Sonic being how big it is, and they've even made movies on it. I don't think I can let that really like sway what I think about the game or games. I think they're fine. I don't really care. Yakuza don't care. So Smash. Smash I have to put in very good because of my memories playing it as a kid. I have to put Smash in very good because of my memories playing it as a kid. Like with everybody that I played it with, like all my younger friends that I played it with, I think Smash is. I mean, we'll see if Soul Calibur is on this series, but I think Smash is just a much better because it's in the Nintendo universe, and I think that's what sells it for me the most. Hearts of Iron, don't know what that is. 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 Company of Heroes is an above average game. I think there's nothing else to it. It's a fine game. Now, listen. If this video ever gets traction somehow, a lot of people are going to be really upset where I place this next thing. I think a lot of people are going to be very upset where I place this next thing. And everybody can see what the next thing is. Because remember, I'm placing these things from a personal, like where I personally enjoy these games. And unfortunately, I don't give a fuck about Pokemon. I'll actually put it in below average. I don't give a no. I don't give a fuck about Pokemon. I don't. Pokemon has such a huge following. I just don't give a shit about it. Right? Like I'm gonna be honest. This is a fine game. I remember this was like a one-off game on Steam. It's a fine game. Don't know what that is. Don't know what that is. Don't know what that is. Hmm. I think Mega Man kind of fills that same niche that Sonic does. To be honest, I did play it quite a bit, but I don't know if me playing it a lot means I like it a lot. If that kind of makes sense. Like I've eaten a lot of McDonald's in my life, but McDonald's is fucking disgusting, right? I'm gonna have to put it in mid because I don't really care about it. I'm never gonna go back and play the Mega Man games. I think Civ, they are very good games. I think the amount of things that you can do in Civ, like having all of these different countries go to war, and then you can kind of control like what happens like geopolitically inside the game. I think is so interesting, and I think you can even look at it as almost a like you can almost do. Sorry about that. You can almost do studies on it and see like what people how people like interact with certain things that are inside the game and how like different countries are going to war with each other. I think that's very interesting. The Last of Us, I'm gonna be honest, it's fine. I played it a little bit. It's a PlayStation exclusive game. Honestly, Uncharted is kind of a little bit below that. I think the Uncharted movie, by the way, was actually quite good. I liked it. As a movie, I have no I don't really have any reference. I only played it a little bit and only watched like a little bit of gameplay. Just because I don't have a PlayStation, right? So like me playing it and seeing gameplay of it was very very rare. I just don't care about it. So Crash Bandicoot. I haven't played the new Crash Bandicoot, but it looks very similar to what I remember it being. I think Crash, unironically, is an S tier game. I loved Crash growing up. I think it's a very replayable game, and I think the way that you die is so funny. Crash Bandicoot was honestly just a part of my childhood, just like Super Mario and Legend of Zelda was. Honestly, I didn't play the game nearly as much, but let's be real, um, they're really fun games to play, especially as like a kid, right? And I'm sure there's still entire communities that talk about this game. I don't really care about it anymore, and honestly, I haven't even played the new one. But when I was younger, Crash was such an awesome game, and I love them. SimCity is the same as The Sims. I don't care. FIFA, I've never played. Age of Empires, I think is a good game. I don't think it's like really good. I don't think it's S tier at all. But I think Age of Empires is a good game. Football, I don't care. Need for Speed is tough. I'm gonna move GT over here because I think these are more closely related. Need for Speed is tough because I really like the old games, but I really dislike the new games. So just based off of how I'm like rating the other games here, I have to put it in very good. Because I really, really like the old games. The new games not so much. Gran Turismo, I haven't played any of the new games. But I played a lot of the old games. I used to play a lot of racing games when I was younger. Gran Turismo was like those main games. And I mean on like the PlayStation 2, right? Like these were a long time ago. I don't think they were on the PlayStation 1. Or at least I don't remember. Midnight Club, okay. Midnight Club is S tier. I know I skipped a few things. Listen. So loud outside, man. Midnight Club, out of all of the racing games, are the only games I have a love for in my heart. Midnight Club is so much better than Forza Need for Speed or Gran Turismo. 100%. 100%. And there's not even a contest. Gran Turismo was, Midnight Club is just so much better. So much better. I played it a lot. I played, uh, what's the game called? Hold on, hold on, hold on. Let me just open up Steam here because I can't remember the name of the game. I I know I'm saying I loved it, but I can't remember the name of the game. But just give me one second here. Uh, yeah, Midnight Club 2. Midnight Club 2 is such a part of my fucking childhood. I did play a couple of the other Midnight Clubs, but Midnight Club 2 is one of the best racing games I've ever played. And that what is 100% nostalgia driven. I love it so much. Batman, I don't care about I don't care about the Batman games. Never played it. Never played it. Shadow of the Colossus. Never played it. I haven't played a lot of these games. Bioshock, I think, actually falls into the same category as Fallout, to be honest. I think Bioshock falls into. Actually, no. Because I enjoyed. What was a Bioshock Infinite? I think it was called. Or something like that. I don't remember the exact name of the Bioshock game. But I did play one of those a lot, and I did enjoy the game, and I did play the DLCs as well. Stalker, don't know. Metro. I think Spyro's kind of mid, to be honest. You know, it just is what it is. You just play as a dragon and go, woo, woo, woo. You just go around and you do things. I don't know. Guitar Hero. Guitar Hero is an S tier game. Specifically Guitar Hero 3, but even Guitar Hero 5 was also a good game. These were games that were unironically like the Guitar Hero games specifically. I think Rock Band is probably like very good, but I think Guitar Hero is S tier. These games were unironically instrumental in my love for music. And I play multiple instruments because of that. I think the Guitar Hero games are extremely good. And I think they are a lot better than the Rock Band games. The Rock Band games are really good. I think they're very good. I think the Guitar Hero games are just better. Warcraft is an obvious S tier. I've played World of Warcraft since 2007. I am fully addicted to it, and I can't stop playing the fucking game. Sorry, like I can stop. Like I haven't been playing the game recently, but I can't really quit. Is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Titanfall. I'm gonna be honest. I think it's kind of mid. No, I think it's above average. I think the movement in Titanfall is some of the best, like jetpack movement I've played. So much better than the Call of Duty ones. But I think the movement is not the entire game, and the general gameplay loop is kind of mid. But I think how the game feels is also important. So I think Titanfall is an above average game. Unreal Tournament, very good. No, good. I did play a lot of Unreal Tournament, but to be honest, I can't even remember the name of the game. So I think it is a good game. Or sorry, like the specific game that I did play a lot. I can't remember the name of it, which does say something, right? But I think they are good games, 100%. Gears of War kind of falls into the same issue as Halo and Call of Duty. I think the earlier Gears of War were S tier. I think Gears 1 through 3 were S tier. I think the newer games are not that great. So, that has to drop down a tier for me. It just has to. I am going through these fairly quick, but there's a lot of games to get through. Metal Gear Solid. I think these are super solid games. Pun not intended. I think these are really, really good games. It's just that they fell off after like three of them. And there's a lot of games, so that does bring the score down a bit. I think the Metal Gear Solid games are really, really good. Darkstalkers, I don't care. Uh, there's a lot of games in here that I love the earlier games in, and it's a little bit unfortunate as to how they fall off. StarCraft is a good game. I think StarCraft 2 was a good game. I'm not a huge RTS player, but I think StarCraft 2 was a good game, and I think it just ends there. It wasn't crazy, but I think it was better than these games for like actual time spent playing them. Rainbow Six, I'm actually gonna put in very good, and it's not because of Siege, it's because of their earlier games as well. Like, oh, that is not what I meant to open. Hold on. Uh, hold on. I don't remember the name. Uh, yeah, Rainbow Six Vegas 2. I played a lot of Rainbow Six Vegas 2. I think those were good games. I don't care about Siege and stuff like that. I just, the gameplay just doesn't interest me. But I played a lot of Rainbow Six Vegas 2, and that is what's putting it in this category for me. Assassin's Creed games, I think, are good games, and I don't think they're much better than that. I think there's only a few games that actually really resonated with me. I think Black Flag was an extremely good game, and I think Assassin's Creed, was it 3? Was also an incredibly good game. Was it 2 or 3? I don't really remember. But it was either 2 or 3 plus Black Flag. I think were extremely good games. It's just the rest of the games I don't care about. Watchdog never played. Dishonored, I think, is kind of a mid game, I'm not going to lie. I think it's fine for a couple hours and then falls off for me. Don't know what that is. Left 4 Dead is only good. Is only good because of Left 4 Dead 2. Actually, just because of Left 4 Dead 2, I'm going to put it in S tier. Left 4 Dead 2 was the earliest co-op shooter I ever played. Was it, or was Rainbow Six Vegas 2 earlier? Huh. I don't really know. I think Left 4 Dead 2, though, the way the co-op is played and like the requirement for cooperation in these games, I think was outstanding. And by the way, I think the same thing with Helldivers 2 is basically Left 4 Dead 2, but with bugs and robots. I think they're incredible games. Kingdom Hearts, unironically never played. Don't care, don't care, don't care. NHL, the games are fine. Okay, I played a few of the games. They fall into the same issue that Call of Duty does, where every game is literally just the exact same. Don't care, don't care, never played. Arma's fine. There's nothing else for me to say about Arma, it's fine. Ghosts and Goblins, don't know, don't know. Banjo Kazooie and Donkey Kong. Okay, so which one's better? Hmm. Which game is better? I'm gonna put Donkey Kong in S tier for obvious reasons. I think everybody can agree that Donkey Kong series and history are really, really good, right? And remember, Donkey Kong, when you go back far enough, Donkey Kong is what started the Super Mario franchise because it used to be called Jumpman. Banjo Kazooie, I think, is just under that. Sorry. Banjo Kazooie, I think, is just under that. I love the Banjo Kazooie games. I just don't think they fit with these other games. I think Banjo Kazooie sits more here. A lot of these games I just haven't played. Okay. I don't know what it is about flight games. Is are the Ace Combat games S tier? I don't know if the Ace Combat games are S tier. I played a lot of Ace Combat 3 and I played a lot of Ace Combat 5. I'm gonna put it in S tier. The story kind of sucks, right? But nobody really plays the Ace Combat games for the story. The Ace Combat games are really, really good in my opinion. But if I was ordering this in any sort of in any sort of if of order, I'm actually gonna move Red Dead down. If I was ordering this in any sort of order, Ace Combat would be like the bottom of S tier, but I'm not really doing that, right? So it is one of the worst S tier things, but Ace Combat is definitely S tier. Fire Emblem never played any of these anime games. Don't even know what that is. I don't know what a lot of these things are. Burnout's a good game. Burnout's a good game. So God of War. God of War, I'm only putting in very good because I only enjoy the old games. I unironically didn't really enjoy the new games, but the old games, like the more like hack and slash style older games, I think those games were so fucking good. It's just the new games I don't really care about. I much preferred the like the top down style God of War games, 100%. I think those were infinitely better, 100%. Burnout, I'm only going to be rating on Burnout Paradise. And I think that is an S tier game. Again, I'm only rating it on Burnout Paradise, the one game in the entire series, because that's the only game I've played. But I think Burnout Paradise is 100% an S tier game. I cannot speak on the rest of the games. I never actually played Tekken. Star Fox, I only played Star Fox 64, and there's too many memes for me to not put it in at least very good. Everybody has heard of Do a Barrel Roll. That comes from Star Fox, Star Fox 64. The Star Fox games are very, very, very good. I love the Star Fox games. I just don't think it is. I don't think it's an S tier game. I don't think it can compete with these other games in here. F Zero. I think this is a fighter jet game, right? If I'm not mistaken, that is this style of game. Never played it. Just looking at some of these other games, a lot of these I haven't even played. Silent Hill, I'm gonna be honest, I think is kind of mid. I think it's fine. I think it's a good horror game to play through once and then it's done. Like it's the kind of game you play and then you uninstall. For me personally, it's fine. That's about it. Unironically, I think Duke Nukem is the exact same. When I play Duke Nukem games, I play them once and then I'm done. They're off my system. I don't think Duke Nukem or Silent Hill has any replayability whatsoever, in my opinion. Pac-Man's an interesting one. Uh, Because I remember playing a game when I was younger, and I can't find this game anywhere. I think it was called Miss Pac-Man, where it was like it was literally a 3D world where you could walk around and go in different portals and do like missions and stuff. But I can't find the game anywhere. So I don't even know if the game actually exists. But I'm pretty sure it's called Miss Pac-Man. And I think it is a they are very good games. For the time that they were released and for how much uh, content you were able to get out of these games, like shooting for high scores all the time, I think is an awesome is awesome for how old this game is when it came out and just the style of game. Tetris, I think, falls under the exact same category. I think when this game came out and the replayability, because you're shooting for high scores constantly, I think Tetris is a really good game. Again, these are all just for me personally. Tetris is almost like chess, right? Where there's a big competitive scene in Tetris. It's crazy how big and competitive Tetris is. Like it's almost like the digital version of chess. I understand that there is digital versions of chess, but I mean the original version of chess was obviously not digital. Bomberman, Bomberman, I think are good games. I don't think there's much else to say about them. They're good games. For me, they're not S tier or even like A tier. Excite Bike, not a clue what that is. Splinter Cell. Splinter Cell, listen. Listen, 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 listen. The Splinter Cell games were so introduced so many different things to the shooter genre, how they do stealth and how they do all of these other things. I think Splinter Cell is an easy S tier, and there's not even like another thing about it. I think Splinter Cell is an easy S tier. Ghost Recon, I don't think fills that niche. I think the Ghost Recon series are very good games. I don't have a clue what that is. World War One game series, I don't know what that is. Don't know what that is. Haven't played it. Grand Blue Fantasy, haven't played. It's crazy looking at this. How many game series I haven't played? No, I haven't played Football Manager. What? Not a clue what that is. Was that dis? I don't even know what that is. Tales of. I don't know what that is. Horizon. I think I've heard of it. Don't know what it is. Again, haven't played any of like the anime games. The only like anime-ish game I've played is Pokemon, and I just don't care for it. It's just not my style of game. Okay, so I have at least two rows here of games I have played. SOCOM. The earlier SOCOMs are so good, unironically so good, and I think they are S tier. For the earlier shooter games, I think the SOCOM campaigns are better than any other shooter campaign. Just the play style, the way the games are written, how the games feel to play, are so substantially better than any other, including Splinter Cell, by the way. I think the systems in Splinter Cell are really good, but I think how SOCOM plays is infinitely better. Like being actually immersed in the game with everything else that actually happens in the game, I think SOCOM is better. Splatoon is funny. I think Splatoon is mid. It's fine. It is a game that exists. What's funny about Splatoon is When the first Splatoon game was coming out, I was actually doing like samples for the game, or like testing for the game. So we have like fairs here. They're called Stampede because I live in Alberta, which is basically Texas, right? It's the Canadian version of Texas. Is literally what Alberta is. Is so we have it's called the Calgary Stampede, but we also get it in the city that I'm in, and it's just a fair with a bunch of rides, right? It's a little bit more serious actually in Calgary. It's this whole event, but for us, it's just like a fair. So I was at a Nintendo truck. I was working, and our whole job was to get people like that were walking by to come in and like test these games, or sorry, test Splatoon. So I had to stand out there in plus like 43 fucking weather, like highs of weather. I don't know what that is in. So 43 is 110 fucking degrees. Like really, really hot weather, right? And we were standing out there. We had to wear specific things, so it's not like I was in shorts and a t-shirt. And we had to get people to come in and play these games for like minimum wage at the time. It was the most miserable 4 days I've ever spent in my life. I never want to do that again. Crisis, I unironically think. Oh, I unironically think the Crisis games are only good because of Crisis 3, and those are the games that put it on the map. Because of all the memes surrounding it, that of the, can your PC run Crisis, or like, but can it run Crisis? Like all of those memes that came out happened strictly because of Crisis 3, and I think Crisis 3 is the only good game in the series, unironically. I've played all of them, I only enjoyed Crisis 3. Brothers in Arms is one of those shooters that I think is a good game, and I don't think it's much better than that. Or sorry, and above average game. I think Brothers in Arms is an above average game. I don't think it's much better than that. I do think the series of Crisis is better than the Brothers in Arms games. I think it's just they're just fine shooters. The the Neo games, I think they are good games. I think the gameplay loop, I think everything is good in Neo. In terms of horror games, okay, Amnesia is up there. I think the Amnesia series is a very they're are sorry. I think Amnesia I think is very good. Sorry, I can't talk right now. I'm kind of like losing my voice. I think Amnesia. I think they're very good. I think for the horror genre, I think they're some of the better games. Dead Space is a good game. I think Dead Space could be better. I kind of hope they reinvigorate the Dead Space games and bring them back because I like them and I would like to see them in like a modern light. But I think for the time period that these games existed, I think they're fine. Rock Band, as I was saying, I think they're very good games. I don't think they're as good as Guitar Hero. I think the games look better, but Guitar Hero just plays and feels nicer. I'm not sure what it is. I feel like the latency, and I know you can like adjust all of that with like TV latency and all that, but I feel like the feedback and the latency of the Guitar Hero games are better, and I've always felt that. I don't know what that is. The Witcher. This is another one that might get me in some hot water. I think the Witcher games are fine. I think they're above average. I think there's nothing crazy about The Witcher. They're a let's put them in good. I think they're a good RPG, and that's about it. I don't think they're crazy good games, to be honest. Actually, I'm thinking about it. Listen, okay, listen. I think they're very good games. They're definitely not S tier for me. I personally do not believe that the Witcher series are S tier games. Bloons Tower Defense are a, they're definitely better than mid. I don't think I don't think they're good. I think they are above average games. I think they are above average games. For the replayability of them and just based off of the price point, I think they are above average games. I don't think they're much more than that because they definitely get very, very hectic in terms of like what is happening on the actual screen. I think they do get very hectic as to what's happening on the screen fairly quickly. Like even just playing the games for like a few hours, and they get very, very hectic. Baldur's Gate, I have actually never played. I know that there is like a brand new game that is coming out at the time of making this like video of the time of this stream, sorry. I know there is Baldur's Gate 3 that is coming out. I have never played a Baldur's Gate game. But I assume that they're very good. But I just haven't played them. Dragon Age, I think, are very good games. I played Dragon Age, was it Inquisition? I think that was a super good game. I just don't think it's S tier because I think some of the other games are not that great. But Inquisition was a really good game. Worms, I'm gonna put in mid, but listen, I think Worms is really fun for about 30 minutes, and then it gets really boring. To me, I don't think Worms has the replayability over a long gaming session that maybe some of these other games do. But I think Worms is really good for about 20 or 30 minutes, and then it's like, okay, we need to play a different game. Like, you know what I mean? Ultima, so like Ultima Online, I haven't actually played it. Five Nights at Freddy's. Honestly, I think the Five Nights at Freddy's games had way too much hype surrounding them for what they actually were. I think it's crazy how many videos were made about these games, and I just don't see it. I don't see it at all. Dead Rising. Where did I put? Where did I put Left 4 Dead? Yeah, I put Left 4 Dead in S tier. I think Dead Rising is a very good game. I just think Left 4 Dead, specifically Left 4 Dead 2, is much better. I think the Left 4 Dead 2 is a substantially better game. But I think Dead Rising is also a very good game for its own merit. Prince of Persia, I think, is a good game. I think these games are solid. I don't think they're much more than solid. They fit roughly in with the Assassin's Creed style of game for me. I think the Prince of Persia games are very good. I just can't put them in A or S tier, in very good or masterpiece. Driver, I'm going to put in above average. I played Driver 3. I played Driver 3 because my parents wouldn't let me get GTA when I was younger. I did play a lot of Driver 3, which is basically fucking GTA, right? It's just GTA, just has a different name. I did play Driver 3, and I think it was a pretty good game. I think it was better than like some of these games. I don't think it was as good as these games. Like for the amount of fun for the time spent that I had, I don't think they were the same, but I think they were above average games, 100%. I don't know what that is. Don't know what that is. Nier, I think we're also above average games. I don't know. I didn't put a whole lot of time into Nier, so that's why I probably can't rate it higher. But I think the Nier games were good games. The Tomb Raider games, let's be honest, are S tier games. Maybe the newer ones are like a little bit weird, but there is so many Tomb Raider games, and I played them all the way back to my PS1 with like the original games. I think the amount of games that they've pumped out consistently, and they're all pretty quality games. Again, the new games are a little bit weird, but overall, like in like a huge like overall, why can't I get out of that? That's fucking annoying. Um, I think the Tomb Raider games are S tier games. Sniper Elite, I think, are kind of mid games. I'm not gonna lie. I think the gameplay loop of these gets boring really, really fast, and I think they're very repetitive. I think it was Sniper Elite 3. I don't remember the name of the game. I think it was Sniper Elite 3. I did play through and I did beat the game, and I was pretty happy to be done with that game. So this is just an S tier game. I'm just gonna put that in there, and it's fine. Fable, I actually also believe it is an S tier game. I think Fable 2 is one of the best RPG games ever created. 100%. I think Fable 2 is such a good game, and the amount of customizability and things you can do in the game for its time is 100% S tier. 100%. Uh, State of Decay. State of Decay is fine. It's fine. It's again one of those games. You play it, and then it's fine. Chivalry, unironically, haven't played. Haven't played. Haven't played. Bro, Space Invaders. Okay. So just because of the style of game, I'm gonna put it in A tier. I'm gonna put it in very good because I don't think it holds a candle to these games. But I think Space Invaders, in its own right, again because of replayability, I think they are really good games. And again, these are not in any specific order. Monster Hunter, haven't played it. Rage. What is Rage? I don't remember. I don't even remember what Rage is. Undertale. I think the Undertale games are good. Sure. I think these are good, solid games. I think there's nothing wrong with them. I think they definitely, have quite a bit of replayability, and I think they definitely have a community around them. I think they're good games. Sure. Okay, Soul Calibur. So in terms of fighting games, 100%, this is an S tier game. 100%. And when you're looking at the other like the other fighting games, Soul Calibur beats them all 100% for me. 100%. In terms of fighting games, like arena style fighting games, I think nothing comes close to how Soul Calibur looks or plays for me. Don't know Ratchet and Clank. I think they are good games. I think they are good games, but also falls into the issue of you play it and then that's pretty much it. For me, anyways. Again, I've never been like a huge achievement farmer in these old games. I never really cared about that. But I did have a PlayStation 3 and I did play through the Ratchet and Clank games. So sure, they are good games. Haven't played another racing game I haven't played. Um, I don't even know what that is, so. Some of these, like, I don't even know what the emblem is. I haven't actually played Warhammer 40k. I know that's like a crazy thing to say, but I unironically have never played Warhammer 40k. I do think they are interesting though, and I do actually want to play them. I just haven't. Um, um, a lot of fucking Mario games in here. I just don't know what that is. You know. World of Warships. Don't know. Just trying to get rid of all the games I haven't played so I can actually like do the games I have played first. So just give me a second here. Tagged Alliance. I don't know what that is. Okay, so Kirby. Kirby, I think, is an above average game. I think the replayability is there. If you want it to be there, just for me, it wasn't. So I think it is a above average game. I don't know if I can put it much higher than that though. I think it is in line with the rest of these games that are in this tier. I haven't actually played Insurgency. Chrono Trigger. I've played Chrono Trigger. I think it's a good game. I don't think there's much else to say. I think it's a good game. Overwatch. I'm going to be talking specifically about Overwatch 1. I think Overwatch 1 is an S tier game. I think there's bugs and there's issues with it, and the community sucks. But every single game has bugs and issues, and a lot of communities suck. I think the actual gameplay itself is substantially better than what I was saying earlier with DF2. Haven't played it. Risk of Rain, also going to be talking about Risk of Rain 2. So the replayability of the Risk of Rain games are very, very, very high. For me personally, I think it gets stale after a couple of hours. So I think that is what knocks it out of the S tier games for me. I think for a game to be S tier, it has to have good replayability. And you have to be able to put hours and hours and hours into it without feeling like you're wasting time. And the Risk of Rain games just don't do that for me. They are very good games. I just don't think they're S tier. Borderlands, minus the last two games that have come out, are S tier games. But a majority of the games that have come out, I think, are good, which is different than these games, right? Where some of the games that have come out have been S tier, but I think a majority of the Borderlands games that have come out are S tier. So I think I'm going to put the Borderlands series in S tier. Max Payne, Saints Row, I'm going to be honest, I think is pretty mid. I don't care about the setting. I mean, it's basically the same as GTA. I'm actually going to bring it down to, I'm actually going to put it down in not good. I don't care about the games. Time Splitters is a very interesting idea. I think they definitely fall into this game. But unfortunately, it's also one of those games where I feel where I can't put a whole lot of time into it and still be like loving the game. I think the gameplay loop, the online gameplay loop gets old fairly quickly, to be honest. You might have missed any other games in here. Haven't played you. I don't like that that popped up at all. I have to fix that. So the Dark Pictures, there is quite a bit of replayability here. The Dark Pictures anthology, I think, are really, really good games. I'm just deciding if they're S tier or not. I think they are. Because every Dark Pictures games that I've played have been S tier games. 100%, yeah. Alone in the Dark, I don't actually think hits that same kind of niche for me. I think they're very good games. I think the difference between these games, this is more like Amnesia kind of esque to me. Dirt is an above average game. When it comes to racing games, I don't really care about the rally games, but they are good. Actually, yeah, they are good games. I just don't think they fall into the same suite as some of these other racing games do. I don't really care about the rally games. Divinity Original Sin. I don't remember much, so maybe that says about how good they are. I'm gonna put them in above average because I do remember playing them. I just don't remember what happens in any of them, but I do remember enjoying the time I had in them. So I think there's definitely a thing there where like I don't really remember what even happens in the games, but I do think I did enjoy the time I spent playing those games though. Dungeon Defenders is an interesting one. So if it wasn't for the recent issues with Dungeon Defenders Awakened, I would put them in Masterpiece games. But because the developers have abandoned Dungeon Defenders Awakened and are putting more time into Dungeon Defenders 2, which I don't blame them because they're able to monetize Dungeon Defenders 2 substantially more, I have to put them in very good. However, I love Dungeon Defenders Awakened and I love DD1. It's just Dungeon Defenders going rogue and Dungeon Defenders 2 I think kind of I think kind of take it out of S tier for me if half of the games that they've put out I don't care for. But the two games that I do like, I really like. Like DD1 and DDA, Dungeon Defenders 1 and Dungeon Defenders Awakened, I think are S tier games. Let's be honest here, Mario Kart is 100% S tier. Mario Party is 100% S tier. Mario Tennis, I'm gonna be honest, S tier. I'm surprised I don't have Mario Golf in here. Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, probably one of the worst Mario games, but they're still very good games. Paper Mario, S tier. 100% S tier. And I can't remember which game it was that came out recently. Was it Super Mario Odyssey? Was it Odyssey where you could go into Paper Mario like form again? I don't remember. But that was such a cool thing that they brought back. Such a cool thing that they brought back. Super Mario Strikers. I haven't actually played this. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. Mario and Luigi, all of the Mario and Luigi games, S tier. Mega Man X haven't played. Mega Man X haven't played. Far Cry. I think these Far Cry games are very good. I think Far Cry 3 is very good. Far Cry Primal I didn't care for. And was it Far Cry? I think it was just called Far Cry 5, I think. Was the more recent Far Cry game that came out. I believe it was just Far Cry 5. I think that is also a very good game. I just don't think the entire series is S tier because a few games are S tier. Which is kind of what I've been saying the whole time, right? I think Far Cry 3 and Far Cry 5, or it wasn't called Far Cry 5. What was the fucking Far Cry game with, you were in like the South? I believe it was like the South. And there was this weird like religious cult kind of thing. You had to kill everybody. I don't remember what that was. Fuck, Far Cry 4 was I don't remember like the individual names, but I can think of the games. And then the other game, it was like with like was it Yao Ming or Ming or whatever the hell his name was? I think that was Far Cry 4. That was also S tier. I just don't think they're as good as these other games. I think the Far Cry series is extremely good for what it is, though. Destiny, I liked Destiny 1. I think Destiny 2 is a cesspool of shit. I think they're above average games. I'm actually going to put them in good games. I think Destiny 1 is a good game. I think Destiny 2 kind of killed it for me. Destroy All Humans is kind of mid. I mean, that just is what it is. Killing Floor is an interesting game. I think they're good games. I do. I think the Killing Floor games are good games. I feel like it was kind of speeding up a little bit there at the end, but I'm gonna be honest. I haven't played a lot of these games, like game series. Maybe I've stuck too much into like the own games that I like, but I don't feel like that's a bad thing. I'm kind of surprised like Mario Golf isn't in here because they did separate like Mario Tennis. I was assuming Super Mario was all of the Mario games because I didn't really look. But I think all of looking back historically, I think all of these games are some of my favorite games ever. Again, these are not in order. These are not in order at all. I don't love Battlefield more than like Guitar Hero or Burnout. It's just that I think these are S tier games, 100%. Yeah, I think I'm pretty happy where I placed everything. Sure, I don't think anything really has to move. Let me just look. Let me just look here. No, I think I am happy with where I put all of these. With my reasonings given for each game, right? Like Halo 1 through Reach were S tier games. But 4, 5, and Infinite, I think were not great games, so it pushes it out. You know what I mean? Like you have to look at these games as a whole. So I think the Halo franchise in its entirety is very good. Yeah, I think I agree with all of this. I think I do. Yeah. Well, I think that about wraps it up for today. Anyways, I kind of got through the stuff that I wanted to get through. I uh, I don't really have any more videos to watch, and I kind of did the other big thing I wanted to do, which was to go through a tier list. I found a tier list that I liked that I wanted to go through, and I did it. So I did it, and yeah, this is not an interesting video. It's just going through like NSFW stuff on Twitch. Yeah, I think I agree with a lot. I mean, obviously I agree with where I put stuff, but I think I'm pretty happy with where I put everything. And my given reasonings also as well, right? Like if you're just skipping to the end of this, you might not have like some contextual reasonings for where I put specific things. And you might be wondering why like I put Pokemon and not good, but watch the video, I guess. I think I'm pretty happy with where I put everything, but I am going to end it there. I'm still very new to the streaming thing, so I don't want to get too burnt out. And I don't really have anything else to do, so I don't have a way to make an exciting stream if I have nothing else to do. You know what I mean? I think me just sitting here talking about nothing in particular, I went through the videos I wanted to watch, so I think that is what it is. Anyways, yeah. Have a good one, everybody that happens to watch this. Have a good rest of your night, morning, or evening. Have a good breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Have a good weekend or beginning of the week. Have a good one.